Hello and welcome to another episode of QuaranTUBE with Dr. Z. Today we're going to do another LOD. Do not worry, you are going to get a POD very soon, but I thought I'd do another LOD today because I wanted to review again the area and perimeter of two other shapes. One is trapezoid and the other is triangles, and of course, to make it extra fun, we have variables. So we're going to go over triangles first. So first, let me go over the formula. So the formula for the area of a triangle is area is equal to 1/2 times base times height, or if you want to do it this way, it's area is equal to base times height divided by 2. They both come to the same conclusion. They both come to the same area using the same dimensions. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. I tend to lean towards the 1/2 times base times height, but that's just because I'm used to that. It doesn't necessarily mean that's a better way to do things. All right, so let's take a look at the first triangle. The first triangle, as we can see, is a right triangle. I've given you 2 dimensions and one variable here. And so the first dimension is 4 inches. Next is 3.5 inches. This I'm going to call the base. That I'm going to call the height. And then finally we have x here, the slope. I'm going to provide you with a perimeter algebraic equation to help you figure out what the variable is. So here it is. 13.5 is equal to 4 plus 3.5 plus x. When you are doing the perimeter, as a reminder from our first lesson, you are not looking at square inches, you're just looking at just plain old inches. It's as if we were building a fence around this triangular shaped garden. That's the example I used in the last lesson. And so here I've already provided the units for you. Now, as a reminder, please draw out the shapes as you see on my paper. Again, it doesn't have to be this big or whatnot, but make sure you label each side with the correct measurement. The second triangle here is called an isosceles triangle. If you can remember that an isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides. And so this one I actually didn't provide you with an algebraic equation. I just put x is equal to blank centimeters because here I've given you some hints as to how you can figure out what x is without doing any sort of calculations. Now, this is not a right triangle, and so you are not going to use any of these lengths or measurements as the height. Here you see that dotted line. That is the height you will use. So here, one measurement is 9 centimeters, the base is 5, and then the height here is 7 centimeters. So for both triangles, please give me the value of x and the area. All right, the second thing we're going to look at is the area and perimeter of a trapezoid. Now, I've labeled each one of these sides. So the top is A, the bottom is B, left is C, and right is D. And here I'm going to give you the formula for the area of a trapezoid. So the area of a trapezoid is equal to side A plus side B divided by 2 multiplied by the height. And just like the triangle, just like that isosceles triangle, you're going to look at that dotted line that I provided for you, which is basically showing the distance from the top to the bottom of the shape. And this height that I've provided for you is going to be 4 feet. Okay, so in order to figure out the x, the variables here, I provided you with an algebraic equation for the perimeter. So here it goes. It's 21.25 is equal to 4.5 plus 6 3/4 plus x plus x. You are to tell me, what is x equal to? Notice how I wrote x 2 times. That was not a mistake. I wrote it 2 times because we have 2 dimensions that you need to figure out. However, you're going to notice that the variable letter is exactly the same. And when you are showing me your work for solving for x, I'd like you to tell me how you knew how to solve for x. Okay, so don't just fill that in, but I'd like for you to kind of put like a little explanation as to how you knew what x was. Okay. Secondly, we're going to again not only show me what x is equal to, but also solve for area of this trapezoid. I'm going to review one more time from the top. So again, we're doing an LOD. You need to copy down these triangles as you see them, including the dimensions that I'm giving you. You are finding the values of these variables. This one, I've given you an algebraic equation and then you're solving for x. This one, I've just given you x is equal to because I'd like for you to take a careful look at this triangle to see if you can just look at the triangle and figure out what x is. For both triangles, you're not only figuring out what x is, but also you must give me the area of each triangle as well with the given measurements. With the trapezoid, I've given you the formula